CALIGO, Miasma of Night, is the 5th enhanced boss to appear in Elden Ring Night Rain, and it's pretty cool, in both ways. Hi boys, I'm Chris Crass. I beat this frosty lizard multiple times solo and with teams, and I'm here to bring you an actually useful boss guide. Carry fire damage if possible, and let's get straight into it. Starting it off, I want to mention that due to CALIGO's terrible posture, hitting the head is an option and should be targeted whenever you can, as it does more damage, stance damage, and status buildup. With that said, let's begin. This fight always starts off with CALIGO doing its signature double aerial strike. And to punish this, listen closely. As soon as the mist clears, lock onto the boss and walk forwards. Wait until the boss flies towards you or the projectiles start being shot before unlocking and running straight through the boss. Feel free to check behind you, but make sure you keep running in a straight line. You'll lose stamina midway, but calmly wait until it refills before you continue sprinting. If done correctly, you'll be positioned right in front of the boss as it lands, where you're free to start off the fight with a large punish opening, often taking 0 damage throughout the entire process. From here, most moves carry over to phase 3 and can be dealt with the exact same way. So to not waste time, let's skip right there. Heads up, the entire start of phase 3 is a whole barrage of scripted moves, so buckle up. At around 80% HP, CALIGO will lay on the floor and surround itself in a deep blue mist. Super sprint as far away as you can when you see this, because the AoE is bigger than you think. From here, CALIGO will be covered in icy armor, which I'll explain later, but for now, conserve your stamina, as the boss will soon fly in a certain direction before shooting one big blue crystal in front of it, which you immediately have to super sprint away from. That said, if you happen to be the one the boss flies towards, you can roll backwards as it lands and immediately navigate to the middle of its tail, the part that's almost touching the floor. Here, the AoE will never reach you, and you'll be able to land a few hits on the tail, potentially cracking its armor and dealing some nice burst damage. Once again, I will explain this later. Anyways, immediately after this, an unavoidable ice storm will be conjured before the boss rises into the air and does the double aerial strike again. Now, if you're in the middle of the arena, simply do the same thing in the beginning. But if you're near the edge of the map or notice the boss sliding along the edge, you want to dodge twice each time it lands and chase after the boss the second time. This is because the invisible barriers that cause the boss to slide can very much f up its flight path, making any strafe incredibly inconsistent. But in turn, the boss has a higher chance of being close to you when landing, as it stops at the barrier, which will once again position you in front of its face, where you can crack the face armor. Okay, wow, that was a lot. But trust me, he will do this every time, and he can do it multiple times in the fight. Moving on, about the armor, here's how it works. There's 4 armored segments, being the head, body, tail, and wings, listed in order of importance. When attacking this armor, the boss will take 50% reduced damage than what it normally would. However, by dealing enough damage, you can crack the armor, not only exposing the respective body part for a set amount of time, but also dealing a fairly decent amount of chunk damage, rewarding you for hitting multiple segments. That said, while it is nice, you shouldn't always be mindlessly trying to crack all the segments, but rather, look out for attacks that just give it to you. Also, because stance breaking the boss breaks all the segments for you, and that getting all of them doesn't trigger a stance break, unlike Maris. Anyways, let's start off with the head punishes, which is the most important and should be targeted most of the time. The first move we have is the forward ice breath. For this move, run forwards if you're right in front of it, and punish from the side. If you're further away though, make sure to super sprint to the side and roll at the very end or use a mobility skill. As for some apparent reason, jumping still led to getting clipped during testing. The second move is the double shotgun claws, which show up whenever you're in the boss's face and are telegraphed when the boss's claws light up with a purple glow, or just lifts its claws. For this, simply roll backwards twice and punish the face. That said, be extra careful because this thing does an unreasonable amount of damage. Holy moly, wow! Thirdly, we have the double tail swipe, also showing up when you're in front of the boss. For this move, you'll be using jumps. For the first swipe, run jump forwards the moment you sense any movement from the tail. After this, position yourself right next to the boss's balls, or lack thereof, and jump a bit after the boss hops backwards. Positioning is very important here, because these attacks can leave behind ice trails that can deal some mean damage. Also, if you encounter this move in the initial phase, you can spot jump both and land a jumping heavy on the first. Lastly, we have the double aerial strike, which I've already explained before, so here I'd like to mention that it can appear by itself without the big combo, and that if you're nowhere near the boss as it lands, don't run towards it, but rather stay still or try to hide behind a sand mound, as the enhanced icicles leave damaging AoEs, and rushing forwards increases the chance of getting hit. Next up, we have the body punishes, with the first on our list being the quick bite. As soon as you roll or get hit by it, immediately super sprint to the boss's nuts and just wail on him. The boss will do like an ice breath into a wing attack, but either way, nothing is hitting you down there. The next attack is the sideways ice breath. This can appear by itself or as one of the moves it does while flying away. Here you can attack the head if it's still in the animation, but be aware that it can often follow up into a wing slap, which you can once again run under the boss to punish. Also, if you can't outspace it, simply roll to the side. The AoE is much smaller than you think. You can also run the opposite direction when the boss flies away to completely avoid it. but be aware that it often triggers the boss to fly towards you to close distance, which by the way, I personally find rolling to the right just before the boss lands to be the most consistent way of dodging it. Anyways, these first two are really the only true body punishes, as the rest can double as possible body and head punishes. One is the single tail slam. This may look similar to the tail swipe, but instead of hugging its body, it's sort of pointing forward. That said, for this attack you really want to get up close to the boss, as this attack also leaves deadly trails, but now in 3 directions. But anyways, time your roll as you see the boss's foot stomp the ground to dodge the AoE. And from there, feel free to attack the head or the body. If you happen to be further away as the boss does this move, dodge to the side to avoid the beam and try to position yourself away from the trail. Also, if you encounter this move in phase 1, it doesn't have an AoE at all, so you can start attacking right away once you get behind the tail. Moving on, the next move is the wing flap combo. Whenever the boss lays down like this, it will always do a wing flap AoE before rushing forwards and breathing ice in a 360. Causing it to summon a bunch of ice bombs, which it will detonate with its tail. Now of course you can just run away after the wing flap to avoid it, but instead I want to show you the single most important strafe in this entire fight. By the way, I'll have some useful notes on screen. Whenever you see this, run to the left to avoid the initial AoE, before chasing after the boss as you see it run away. Then roll the ice breath once and position yourself under the boss. From here, the only thing you need to do is dodge the ending tail slam, which has the exact same timing as the last one. Also, just like the last one, its phase 1 variant does not have an AoE. Since the boss does this super often and it has a pretty large opening in of itself, this is an amazing strafe. Now, for these past 2 openings, whether or not I hit the head depends on if the boss has armor on its body. If it does, I'll attack the body for burst damage, but if it doesn't, I'll attack the head for its increased damage. Anyways, finally moving on to the tail punishes, the only thing here is the big blue ice summon, which I've already covered. So here, I just want to mention that this attack can appear as part of the big combo or by itself, often when flying away from you. Also, beware that staying behind the tail for too long can cause the boss to do this tail whip into single tail swipe, and you know how deadly those trails can be. Lastly, we have the 2 moves that straight up should not be punished and just ran away from. One is the ground breath, which is telegraphed whenever the boss stands up and points its head at the floor. For this attack, I like to run away as far as I can to bait out the boss to fly towards me, as the ground breath leaves a lot of ice shards on the floor, which I'd rather not deal with. The other of course is the blue boom, which will always regenerate the boss's armor before comboing into big blue ice and the double airstrike. It is the phase transition move, but can also reappear throughout the fight after a minimum of 2 minutes. But unlike other bosses, CALIGO isn't always in a rush to rebuff. Now, you may have noticed I haven't mentioned the wings, and that's because I personally don't f with them. There isn't a particular attack opening you can use to attack them unless you're using range. Plus, I don't see the benefit of trying to attack something that's hard to hit over just attacking the head some more, even in trios. So yeah, unless you're Iron Eye, I'd say ignore the wings. And yeah, that's about the entire fight covered. Before I end this video though, here's some last few tips to help you out. 1. Since it's kind of a guarantee that the boss will frostbite you using the big blue crystal move, unless you stance break it, the event rewards from the mountaintop shifting earth will help you greatly for this fight, as it halves the frostbite damage and gives you a 15% boosted damage whenever you're frostbitten. 2. Since you'll be running a lot in this fight, you might be spamming the super sprint button, never knowing the exact moment you can use it again. Well, to help out with that, simply hold down on your regular sprint button, and as soon as you notice your stamina depleting, that's when you know you can use the super sprint again. 3. Fire damage is really good for this boss, not only because CALIGO takes 35% extra damage from it, but also because it staggers the boss and debuffs its damage and resistances from the looks of these icons. Also, while editing this, I forgot to mention, but it seems like CALIGO also gets a damage boost by frostbiting you. And yeah, that's the enhanced CALIGO guide done. If this video helped you out, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Spread the word that actually useful boss guides do exist, because I need to feed my cat. But anyways, here's a really clean boss fight for anyone who wants it, and I hope you all have a great day. Okay, try to hit list. Come on, let's go. Okay. Alright, let's see if this goober slides. Oh yeah, I forgot that this happens first. Whoopsie. What? Why you... Okay, I guess he slid a little bit. Whoa. Okay. Alright, you're not? Fine, I'll just stand here. It'll fly to me eventually. And hopefully this time I don't miss my fucking roll. What? 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 Huh? Brother. Excuse me? Bro, now you're just fucking with me, bro. Yep, put your head down here. Okay, how are you not stance, bro? Okay, I'll fix that. How the hell were you not stance broken? I do not understand. Okay. Drink this, I guess. Okay, I missed. Ah, missed. Okay, it looks fine. Yes, did not slide this time. God, I love this strafe. Nice. Okay. Ah. Oh, hell nah, bro. Fuck you. You're not doing that. Not now. Screw you. Piss off. Fuck off. Bro got 1 HP left and decided, hey, I'm gonna do the fucking 1 minute long combo. No, yeah, no. Fuck you.